Loony, loony, loony. What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another review, and it's going to be for the 1986 film Stand By Me, and this is directed by Rob Reiner and stars Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell and Corey Feldman. This tells the story of four young friends who, when upon hearing of the location of a dead body of a kid their age, set out on an adventure to find it and try to become heroes. Welcome to the first of many of my Stephen King movie reviews, and what a film we've got to start with here today in Stand By Me, based on his novel The Body. And this is a little bit different to his usual work because there are no horror or supernatural elements in this story. And I remember my first encounter with this film. I went over to a friend's house and he had borrowed this from his uncle, and it was about halfway through the film and I watched about 5 minutes of it and I knew instantly that I needed to see the whole movie. So naturally I borrowed it off him, went home and watched it, and it is now one of my most viewed movies of all time. Now, when I was a young boy, I had friends and we used to go out on the streets and stuff and just have a good time, really. And this film relates to me in that way a little bit, albeit we never done anything interesting like a 2-day journey away from our home to find a dead body. But it always brings back good memories, and it's a bit of a nostalgic trip for me, just because it reminds me of those times. Now, this is a simple enough story, executed really well on screen by Rob Reiner, but the core of this film is centred around our four main characters, Gordy, Chris, Teddy and Vern, and I think you will be hard pressed to find better chemistry between four characters in movie history, in all honesty.
Okay, forget it. I don't have to tell you nothing.
Hold on, you guys, hold on.
What is it, man? Okay, great. You won't believe this. Sincerely,
I ran all the way home.
Stand By Me carries such a fun vibe throughout its runtime, even though the end goal of them finding a dead body is kind of a bleak one. There's a lot of entertainment to be had here, mainly because each of these four characters just brings something different to the table. And even though they are so fun to be around, they're also carrying a lot of personal stuff on in the background, you know, at home and stuff that does kind of get them down. But when they all come together, all of their worries just seem to go away. Now, the cast is perfect, it really is, but a lot of credit has to go to director Rob Reiner, A, for casting them, but B, for his hands-on approach in the way he dealt with these four cast members. And if you watch the documentary, Walking the Tracks, they will give so much credit to Rob in how he handled this and how he got the emotion out of them, how he got their mannerisms down. And he did really squeeze every single drop out of them to get the best of their abilities on the screen there. These characters are the core of the movie, but Rob is the heartbeat. Like I just said, each character does bring something different to the film, but my favourite has to be Vern, played by Jerry O'Connell, because he's just got so many comedic moments going throughout this movie. He is the one they kind of make fun of in a nice, friendly way, and every obstacle that comes to him in life he is afraid of, he doesn't want to face it. And I suppose we all had a friend like that in our gang when we were younger now, didn't we? And there's also some very deep moments as well, because as fun and entertaining as this movie is for a large portion of it, there's also some very deep moments that go on. Now, Gordy, the main character of the film, he had a brother called Dennis who died in a car accident, and he was a promising footballer, an upcoming, you know, he's going to be a professional and stuff, and he feels like he's got this weight of pressure on his shoulders to become something from his father, and even from the townsfolk who all knew Dennis. And then we have Chris, who is prejudged by everyone because he comes from a bad family. We have Teddy, who doesn't get on with his father at all, and his father beats him. And later on in the film, Chris and Gordy do have some really hard-hitting and emotional scenes in just conversation together. But I think there's a message in this film of how good true friends can be for one another, and it teaches us a lot, I feel.
just imagine that I could go someplace where nobody knows me.
I guess it's just the perfect coming of age movie. It's all about the realities of life and growing up. And friends come and go, but even though their paths in this movie are very, very different in the future, the one in front of them, they are all together in this moment. And there's a lot to learn from this film. It's not just for males who want to rekindle their youth, like myself sometimes when I watch this film, but it's just something that everyone can relate to. However, the reason I love this movie most is because of the fun scenes that are thrown in. You never really stops feeding the viewer. There's always something going on. I really love the part where they cross the bridge, and if a train comes, they're kind of done for. And you guessed it, halfway through, a train comes and they have to run to the other side of the bridge before they are squished by this train. Also, the pond full of leeches is always a fun moment. You know, they're just having fun, and next minute all these leeches are just stuck to them and they're panicking. But one of my favourite parts of this movie is when they go to Milo, the junkyard man, and his dog Chopper, and they sit in the junkyard, and there's been stories of this guy, you know, that he's not a really nice guy and he's really mean and he sets his dog on people. And when Gordy comes back from the store with some food, his friends have been chased out the junkyard by Milo, and he really does try and wind Teddy up by calling his dad a loony. And he tries to get him back over the fence, but I just love his face when he says loony, loony, loony. You've been told to respect adults when you're a kid, and they know best. But in this instance, Milo is just a major arsehole.
I know all you guys, and all your fathers are gonna get a call from me. Except for the loony up in Tokus.
Ow! Come on, man!
I've got to mention possibly the best scene in the movie though. It's kind of in the middle there, and it's when Gordy tells a story of a pie eating contest with the main character as Lardass. Now, it's not really got anything to do with the film, but I always appreciate it because it's just a nice 5-minute little break from the actual story. Now, I don't think too many films do this anymore, but for Stand By Me, it totally works. And I suppose if you want to take something out of it, it does showcase Gordy's writing talents a little bit, I suppose. And in the midst of all these scenes too, we do have some of the most entertaining dialogue you will ever hear in a film. Not a word is wasted, and it's just a bloody good script. So even though at times they're talking shit, it's just so fun to listen to. Goofy, is he a dog? Who cares? But these guys are really trying to figure it out, and they just don't have the answer. The film just flies by too as well, and I'm not just talking about its 1 hour and 30-minute runtime. The pacing is just so well done, and it's pretty damn perfect, to be honest. There's a moment in the middle of this movie where Vern turns to everyone and says, "This is really a good time," and they all say, "Yeah, the best," and nod along. And as a viewer, you kind of nod along with them because you're just having a great viewing experience. So this kind of explains why this movie is so rewatchable to me. By the way, I really love the look of Castle Rock here. It just looks like a place I want to hang in. Now, I've only read a handful of Stephen King novels, but he does go into great detail of how locations look and how they even feel. And in a lot of his movies, the towns and places that they take in tend to have this welcoming vibe to them. So maybe it's down to that, but Castle Rock in this movie is no exception. Stand By Me is also really well narrated by Richard Dreyfuss, who plays an older Gordy, who's basically telling you the story. And I love when films are narrated. I don't know why, I just feel more a part of the story. You've got movies like Goodfellas that do this, and Stand By Me is another. It just gets me more involved, if you like. And it also, every time I watch this film, it kind of makes me want to write at the end of it. So I did. I put pen to paper and wrote down this review. So here we are. Look, I could go on all day about this film. There's so many things I have not mentioned, like the wonderful, heartwarming theme tune, or the fantastic performance by Kiefer Sutherland, who plays Ace, the bully, who these kids have to deal with on occasion. I think this is just a film that everyone likes now, isn't it? If I could pick one small gripe with this film, and I'm not just picking it because I do actually always think about it when I've seen the end of the film, but it's just that I want that a little bit more. I wish we could have maybe seen the other characters a little bit when they're older, not just Gordy, or more of what happened to them, even though it is kind of wrapped up nicely anyway. But I think this just comes from me rewatching this movie so many times and getting so much into the characters that may play a part in me wanting this. But also, Ace definitely is set in stone to come back and get these guys, because after Gordy has pointed the gun at him, he says, "This is big time, baby. We're not going to forget this." And I always wonder, did Ace and the gang come back and beat the shit out of these guys or even kill them? Because he had the knife to Chris's neck right at the end of the movie there, and he was about to stab that kid until Gordy fired the gun. So I always wondered that. Maybe it's explained in the novel The Body a little bit more. I don't know. I have not read it. It's a book I'd like to read though. Damn, I sound like Teddy here when he's asking what happened to Lardass now, aren't I? I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Stand By Me, and this is a first for the channel here. It's not quite the perfect score, but this is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. Just because of that little gripe I have. I mean, I am very hard pressed to give a movie a 10. This is in touching distance, but if you have not seen Stand By Me, I plead with you to give it a go. It's such an enjoyable movie. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Stand By Me is that Kiefer Sutherland, who I'm going to mention here for the fun fact because I feel like I didn't really mention him too much in the review there, but we would have went on all day and he deserves it. He was actually in character on set, so he'd go around and be a menace to these boys, so they were actually really scared of him. He's a lot older, he's got that look anyway, hasn't he? And I think you see that in the film as well. They're very, very wary of him. So kudos to him for staying in character behind the scenes. I thought that was an awesome fun fact.
That's why I'm going to give him the opportunity of taking it back.
Oh, shit.
Take it back.
Oh.
Now, before I end this review, I just want to say rest in peace to River Phoenix. I know a lot of time has gone by, but at the end of this film, when Gordy says he hasn't seen him for 10 years, he does tell us that he did die because he got stabbed in the neck. Now, I know he didn't die like that in real life, but it just, in a weird way, feels connected to this movie. I don't know why, but a lot of people do actually say this. I always feel like it's sad at the end when he says that Chris died, but in real life, River Phoenix actually died a few years later after making this film as well. So, rest in peace to him. I feel like he would have been at the top of the acting chain right now with many Oscars under his belt, and it is such a shame because he was a wonderful actor. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed the first of my Stephen King reviews. Please let me know what you think of Stand By Me. Do you enjoy this movie? Do you not enjoy it? I don't think I'm going to find anyone in the comments who doesn't enjoy it now, am I? And please let me know what you thought of this review. What other Stephen King reviews would you like if you enjoyed this one? Please let me know. I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. Please consider subscribing to this channel. I've got a lot more videos coming, lots more Stephen King reviews. Take it all easy, guys. And I'll see you all in the next video.